Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you are having a great Friday. Welcome to the weekend. First and foremost, thrilled to announce we have a new partnership. The weekend is here. If you're going to be drinking, drink local. We've got Boudreaux's Bloody Mary and Margarita mix. Mighty good. We are proud to announce that we are on Morning Scone here, now sponsored by Boudreaux's Margarita and Bloody Mary mix. Try not to get it backwards. So, at Calandro's and Calvin's in Baton Rouge. Check out their Facebook page, e-commerce coming soon, where we'll be able to tell you where you can find it online. But check out their Facebook page, check out their Instagram, and if you're going to be having some libations this weekend, choose a local product from Houma, Louisiana. Check out Boudreaux's Bloody Mary and Margarita mix. So LSU baseball could probably use a little bit of that after last night. Brutal game one loss when everything is on the line. Paul Mainieri said after the game, everything's on the line, everything's magnified importance, and we just didn't get it done. And I don't know that there's so much that I could sit here and dissect from last night's game because it was just a thorough whipping for LSU. And it started at the top of the first where LSU had 2 runners on and 2 outs, couldn't get the run home, runs home. That was a great opportunity to set the tone against the freshman pitcher Tanner Burns. Instead, he wiggles off the hook. Excuse me. He wiggles off the hook, and you end up in a situation where now Hess has to go out there instead of with a lead. Maybe you set the tone early in that ball game, and instead Auburn's feeling good about itself, and they come up in the bottom of the first, and they load the bases against Zach Hess, and it looked like he was going to get out of it. He got a ground ball out. He got a fly ball out. Then he gets a bases-loaded strikeout for out number two, but he bounced it on a curveball, and it got past Hunter Fiducia, and the run scored. And then he was able to get a ground ball out for out number 3. And that was kind of indicative of the night because even when things went well for LSU, things went bad. If you were wondering just how important that was last night, not that obvious. I mean, obviously the last weekend of the regular season when you're fighting for your postseason lives, everything's important. But if you're wondering just how important it is, Paul Mainieri pulled Hunter Fiducia after he let that pass ball get by him in the first inning. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Might they platoon the catchers, Coombs and Fiducia, because it's something that looked like he had been doing, Mainieri had been doing, and letting Coombs catch when a lefty is starting for Auburn, and let Fiducia start whenever a righty's starting for Auburn. But obviously, the lefty-righty matchup at the plate for LSU, and first inning, Fiducia lets the ball get by him. He was due up first in the second, and Coombs came to the plate and batted for him. I mean, it certainly underscores the urgency that Paul Mainieri has right now for this team. It certainly underscores the importance of the weekend, and also it sort of just shines a light on how inconsistent it's been for this team. And so if you go back and look at what we felt like they needed to do this weekend to punch their ticket to regionals, they needed to win this weekend. They needed to do something that they hadn't done all year, which was win a road series. And it felt like their best chance to get a game was going to be game one with Zach Hess throwing against Tanner Burns, where you had your ace, your Friday night guy, your number one, going against a freshman. And Burns has been good this year. That's not to disparage him. But we talked about yesterday with Burns. The thing was he certainly had good strikeout numbers, 65 strikeouts and 61 innings pitched, but he also had 28 walks. And you needed to work him deep into counts. As it is, you got him to 97 pitches through 6 innings, 4 runs on 6 hits. He only walked 2. Just an impatient approach at the plate, and LSU just didn't get enough done. And once they got down, it felt like they pressed, and that's kind of been the approach all season. And now they've put themselves in a spot where you got to find a way tonight. Mainieri said after the game, look, it's just one. We didn't play well, but it's just one. He's right. It is just one. But the problem is you look at what's looming, and now you've got to face Casey Mize tonight in Game 2. We'll talk about Casey Mize in just a second, but if you're looking like for the one good thing, I mean, it kind of felt like, they went to Cam Sanders in the fourth after Hess was lifted after 3, and you look at Hess's line. 3 innings pitched, 5 runs on 6 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 83 pitches through 3 innings. And the crushing part about that is the second inning. Remember, Auburn scored the run on the wild pitch in the first. It looked like Hess was going to get out of the jam. And in the second, he got 2 very quick outs, and then it all unraveled on him. The walks came, the hits came, gave up the homer. Auburn ends up putting up a 4 spot in the second. It's 5-0, and then you feel like you can't even breathe. So LSU was able to put up 4 runs, and it looked like they were inching closer when it was 5-2. Bain hit a double. It was a fly ball to center, and the kid lost it in the lights, and 2 runs scored. But you take it how you can get it. And then Jake Slaughter hit a 2-run homer to bring him within 8-4 in the 7th. And you kind of felt like, or in the 6th rather, you kind of felt like, man, maybe they can do this. Right? We've seen them rally before. You've gotten into Auburn's bullpen. It's 8-4. See if you can hold it close. And then Kodros goes in, and Trent Vetmeyer goes in, and they just explode for 3 in the 7th after you got the 2 in the 6th, and they got them right back. So it was disappointing, man, when they absolutely had to have it. So now Auburn and LSU are tied in the Southeastern Conference standings with 2 games to go, and LSU's got to find a way tonight to try to beat Casey Mize, who is probably going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. If you saw Keith Law's latest mock draft, he's got Casey Mize going number 1 overall to Detroit. So LSU just has a monumental task tonight. If you want the positive, the air quotes, the silver lining, I think I shared this with you yesterday. If not yesterday on Morning Scone, we certainly shared it on AFR. LSU's faced Casey Mize the last 2 years. In 2016, he threw 2 1/3 innings of relief. In 2 1/3 innings, LSU touched him up for 3 runs on 4 hits. In 2017, he only went 4 innings last year at the box. LSU beat him 5 runs on 6 hits. So combined against LSU in the past 2 seasons, Casey Mize has thrown 6 1/3 innings and allowed 8 runs on 10 hits. So they've seen him well and hit him well, but you don't have Kramer and Cole and Greg Dykman and Papierski coming up to the plate. You're going to need young guys who are going to face the best arm they've seen all season to go out there and really get to him. And on the flip side, you're going to need Mikhail Hilliard to be, quite honestly, brilliant. And if there's a hope, it's that Hilliard hasn't put together back-to-back poor outings really all year. And if you're looking for a comparison, you go back to the Thursday of the Ole Miss series, where Hess got LSU off to a pretty good start, and he left the game tied 3-3 against Ryan Rollison. And then in the 6th is when everything fell apart, and LSU gave up that 11-run inning, and the bullpen just absolutely dissolved against Rollison, or against Ole Miss's offense. Well, Hilliard came out the next day, was brilliant, and LSU wound up winning the game 2 of that series and had a shot to win the series, but they imploded. They had an 8th inning lead on Saturday in Game 3, and the bullpen blew it. But in a similar spot, Hilliard, and that was also, remember, coming off his awful outing at South Carolina. So Hilliard had a huge bounce back and a similar spot against Ole Miss, and he's going to need to do it tonight. I mean, Mikhail Hilliard's going to have to go out tonight and just be the lockdown stud that he's been most of the year, and not what we saw last week where he walked 5 and hit 2. That was LSU's bugaboo yesterday as well. I mean, Auburn's a good enough hitting team that they don't need help. But if you look at it, LSU ended up walking 8. LSU walked 8. I hadn't even looked at that yet. LSU walked 8 and hit. I know Hess hit a kid. Where they hit by pitch, 1, 2, and hit 3. I mean, you understand? Like, LSU walked 8 and hit 3. They gave Auburn 11 base runners last night. You just can't win. You just can't. I mean, unless if you just bludgeon the baseball and score 15 runs, you can't win when you walk 8 and hit 3 batters. When you just give them 11 runs or 11 runners and a run on a wild pitch. LSU also committed 2 errors last night. Just a terrible. There just wasn't much positive to say. So. they got to give themselves a chance, and to do it, they got to climb almost impossible odds, seemingly, because they got to go try to beat Casey Mize tonight, who's going to be the #1 pick in the draft. So we'll see what they could do. You got national TV again tonight for the game on the SEC network, so we'll see if LSU can save their season. But at this point, you're talking about a team that is 3-14 away from its building, and it's so hard to justify them earning a regional bid unless if they can find a way to win the next two nights, next two games, or win one of the next two and maybe go on a little run in Hoover. But it's hard to imagine that, especially because, well, the tournament isn't at Alec Box Stadium. So a couple of things to watch tonight. Let's see if Michaela Hilliard can get LSU off to a really good start tonight. See if LSU can hit Casey Mize. I'm very interested to see who catches tonight as well, to see if they go back to Fiducia against a righty, or if they stick with Nick Coombs, who was 0 for 3 last night, but really actually had a pretty good game behind the plate, kind of as a pretty solid backstop. So in any event, that's going to do it for this edition of Morning Scone. Appreciate you. Hey, get out this weekend and enjoy some Boudreaux's Margarita Mix and Boudreaux's Bloody Mary Mix. You can find it at Calandro's in Baton Rouge or Calvin's. And please check out their Facebook page. Give them a follow on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, like them on Twitter, all that good stuff, and tell them you appreciate our friends at Boudreaux's sponsoring Morning Scone heretofore. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning recapping Game 2.